Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Here's that story. I told you I had it in the stack. Grade school graduation canceled after anonymous complaint about president. The thing that really gripes me about these. Now, we're not talking about a legal proceeding here, but there's a principle. When you get charged with a crime, the Constitution requires that your accusers have to face you in open court. They can't file anonymous accusations, anonymous charges against you and get away with that. Your accusers have to appear in open court where they can be cross-examined. And yet here is an anonymous complaint, one complaint, upending an entire graduation ceremony. This is the Riverside School District in Lake City, Arkansas. Again, this is down in the South. I mean, these secular fundamentalists, they think the South is easy pickings. People down there are so nice. We stayed away from them because their faith was so strong. And now we find their faith is strong, but their character is weak. They won't fight back. They won't push back. They'll roll over. They'll collapse. There's no strength of will to resist. So we can push them around. We can bully them, and they won't push back. So again, they're just now, it's like Sherman through Georgia. They're sweeping through the entire South, trying to purge the South of all public displays of faith. Riverside School District in Lake City, Arkansas has canceled its sixth grade graduation ceremony after a parent protest over the inclusion of Christian prayer in the festivities. After officials received a letter from the American Civil Liberties Union, again, what did they spend? 49 cents. And this school district collapses. They can't even stand up against a 49-cent postage stamp. So if a bully realizes there's a whole group of people he can push around and he doesn't have to fear about any kind of pushback, where's he going to go? That's where he's going to forage. That's where he's going to campaign. That's where he's going to do his Sherman through Georgia kind of thing. The event was canceled. Parents surprised and frustrated. Parents claims that all hope is not lost. Rather than accept no graduation ceremony for their sixth graders, parents have another plan. They are getting together this week to find a church where the event can still be held. Collectively, they plan to host their own version of the graduation, and it's open to everyone, regardless of belief. Now, this is inclusion. They're saying, look, we're going to have a ceremony. We're going to have Christian prayer. We might even have a Christian song or two, but everybody is welcome. We aren't going to exclude anybody from our graduation ceremonies. The ACLU, on their hand, wants to exclude Christians from similar ceremonies. Let's try to get to some sound bites if we can. Let us go to, got to get back up. There we go. Found a correct sheet. Now, I want to go back and revisit a little bit of what happened with the Benghazi hearings yesterday. We're not going to spend a lot of time, but I want to kind of close the loop on this. I want to take you back to shortly after the attack on Benghazi, 9/11/2012, just 8 months ago. And again, remember, the administration blamed this thing on this YouTube video that simply tells the truth about Islam. I watched the thing. It's about 13 minutes. Pretty terrible filmmaking. I mean, the artistic quality is nothing on this deal. But everything it says is the truth about Islam. There was no error. There was no exaggeration. It simply told the truth about Islam. Kind of cheesy, but it told the truth. And the Obama administration blamed this whole thing, the attack on the embassy in Cairo, the attack on the compound in Libya, on this video. And not only did they blame it on this video, but President Obama spent $70,000 to put an ad on Pakistani TV, an ad that he produced featuring sound bites from him and sound bites from Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. And here is what that ad said. This is the ad that we paid $70,000 of your taxpayers' dollars and mine to air this ad on Pakistani TV.
Since our founding, the United States has been a nation that respects all faiths. We reject all efforts to denigrate the religious beliefs of others.
Let me state very clearly, and I hope it is obvious, that the United States government had absolutely nothing to do with this video. We absolutely reject its content and message. America's commitment to religious tolerance goes back to the very beginning of our nation.
So that was the ad, $70,000 to get that ad on Pakistani TV. Now, one excerpt from the hearing yesterday, this, let's see if I can make sure I got the right guy. This is Gregory Hicks. This Gregory Hicks was the second in command in Libya. He was second in command under Chris Stevens. When Chris Stevens died that night, he was kind of a battlefield promotion. He was chief of mission there in Libya. And he was asked this question about this video in the hearing yesterday by Representative McHenry. Here's how the exchange went.
Was there anything in connection to a YouTube video? Was there any awareness that it was the events occurred because of a YouTube video?
The YouTube video was a non-event in Libya.
Okay. And did you know about that within a couple days or the day of?
Yes.
Okay. And so did you report to anyone in Washington within the first couple of days that there was anything in connection, a protest in connection to a YouTube video?
No, the only report that our mission made through every channel was that there had been an attack on a consulate.
Not a protest?
No protest.
So this is Gregory Hicks. He says, look, the YouTube video was a non-event in Libya, the whole country of Libya. What happened in Tripoli at the embassy, nothing to do with the YouTube video. What happened to the compound in Benghazi, nothing to do with the YouTube video. It was a non-event in all of Libya. And this was the day of. They never reported that there was any protest involved with this YouTube video. Now, this is Mark Thompson, who was the acting deputy assistant secretary for counterterrorism, and he testified. Now, he's the deputy assistant secretary for counterterrorism, and we know now that they knew as it was happening that this was a terrorist attack. Ansar al-Sharia, an al-Qaeda affiliate in Libya, was behind this thing. So you'd think this Mark Thompson guy would be central to formulating a response. You would be wrong. Let's listen.
Were you ever given a detailed explanation as to why the fest was not considered for deployment? And number two, did you attend or attempt to attend any senior meetings to plead your case for a fest deployment? And if so, what happened?
The reason I was given was that this was not the time for the fest. It might be too unsafe for the fest, and I got that through Miss Austin Ferguson. I readdressed that with her. I readdressed it with her staff 2 days later.
Did you attempt to attend any meetings?
The next morning there were VTCs. I presumed I would be part of that. I was told not to attend those, although CT was represented there. The fest portion and the response portion of the Counterterrorism Bureau was not represented there.
So why were you not called into action? This is what you trained for. It's what tabletops are for. It's what you're prepared to do. Why was FEST not called into action?
I do not know.
I do not know. FEST is an emergency response team. They were there. They were trained for this. You know, and the explanation that was given, well, it was dangerous. These are soldiers. They are trained to go into combat in order to protect liberty and protect American life. That's what they're trained for. And whoever was making the call, well, it was dangerous. We couldn't send them in there. We didn't know what was going to happen. There could be bullets flying. They could get hurt. Meanwhile, 4 Americans are dead. Now, here's Gregory Hicks talking about the interference that he received from the administration, interfering with him as a potential whistleblower even before the truth began to come out. This is when Jason Chaffetz, who was on the committee that conducted the hearing yesterday, Jason Chaffetz from Utah, he went to Libya to get some eyes-on, boots-on-the-ground information about what went down there, what happened, and Greg Hicks says this is what happened in connection with Jason Chaffetz's visit.
And tell me about those conversations, what those lawyers instructed you to do on Mr. Chaffetz's visit to Libya.
I was instructed not to allow the RSO, the acting deputy chief of mission, and myself to be personally interviewed by Congressman Chaffetz.
So the people at State told you, don't talk to the guy who's coming to investigate?
Yes, sir.
Said, don't
Not
talk with the
personally.
congressman? Now, you've had several congressional delegations come to various places you've been around the world. Has that ever happened where lawyers get on the phone to you prior to a congressional delegation coming to investigate a time when we've had 4 Americans lose their lives? Have you ever had anyone tell you, don't talk with the people from Congress coming to find out what took place?
Never.
Never. And you've had dozens and dozens of congressional delegations that you've been a part of.
Yes, sir.
First time it's ever happened.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about, and also, isn't it true that one of those lawyers on the phone call accompanied the folks on the delegation and tried to be in every single meeting you had with Mr. Chaffetz and the delegation from this committee?
Yes, sir. That's true.
Tell me.
Okay, so he says, look, they basically assigned a minder to me, this lawyer, and he was supposed to be present every time I talked with Jason Chaffetz. I wasn't supposed to have any conversation with Jason Chaffetz without this lawyer being present. That had never happened before. I've arranged and been with dozens of congressional delegations. This has never, ever happened before. What's that tell you? That tells you that the administration knew from Jump Street that they had something that they needed to bury, something that they needed to hide. Now, let's jump down to clip 6, Rob, if we can. Again, this is cavalier callous on the part of the Democrats. Imagine the Democrats saying this when the Newtown massacre occurred, saying this about teachers. Well, they got to understand there are certain risks with the job. Let's listen.
Well, you know, I actually think we have to start drawing some conclusions. I mean, I think everybody did their best. And this Christopher Stevens, by the way, is a diplomat who prided himself on talking to the people, on getting out and getting around. He knew that there were a risk associated with doing the job. And a lot of our diplomats have a kind of bravery that many of our soldiers have. They know that there is some danger. And in fact, in order to do the job and not just be hunkered down in a bunker, there is going to be some risk.
So let me ask you this question. That was Representative Peter Welch, a Democrat from Vermont. Imagine that some Republican had said this after Newtown. Well, these teachers, they understand that there's risk. I mean, it just comes with the territory. Death is a part of life. It's just time for everybody just to get over this thing and move on. It happens. There's risk associated with any task. I mean, that person would have been pilloried, hung from the nearest lamppost, and yet here Peter Welch saying blithely about 4 American lives. Back in Tuesday with us, Focal Point AFR Talk.